Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talk. Thanks for joining me. I'm Keith, the host of this little channel, and we're going to look at all the latest news coming out of Manchester United. Unfortunately, I've not been around for the last couple of days because I've been away filming on a brand new show for the BBC, which will come out later in the year. I'll talk about that maybe at the end. But we're going to look at all the latest news coming out of United at the minute. Headlines being, it looks like Cunha and Delap are the two that we are running after at the minute. They're the names that keep coming up time and time again. I've seen all the news breaking yesterday and the day before about Cunha, and we're in talks, potentially even buying him early, which would be unbelievable. Get your thoughts in. How quickly would you like to see Cunha in through the door? Would you like to see Cunha come in and be on the books before we head off for the old even Asian tour? I don't know, or maybe the American tour. I mean, any of the tours. If he was in early, it would be absolutely fantastic. We'll look at what's being said about Osman. We'll look at what's being said about Delap. We'll also look a little bit about things that are being said about Dorgu. Tyler Fredrickson, the young kid, made his debut at the weekend. Had a cracking game, and Harry Amas also, and how the youth are, providing us with an excellent platform below. Apparently, we're linked to a new young player from Argentina, the new Messi, they're dubbing him. I don't quite have the caption up on that. I just was hearing about that before I started the video, but we'll have quick thoughts on that. And then there's a few other little bits and pieces as well, just stuff that Alan Shearer had said on Rasmus Højlund too. So let's jump into the top news, and this is coming from David Ornstein, and he says the suggestion is that Manchester United want to complete the deals to sign Matthias Cunha and Delap in the window even before any sales have been made. Now, I've been kind of talking about this, and I've been saying how we need to sell Sancho and Rashford and Anthony and maybe get Casemiro off the books, etc., to bring in money. But all of a sudden, we have money. And it was before that we didn't have money and we're broke. And as Jim Ratcliffe said in his own words, Manchester United were in trouble without his investment. Now, all of a sudden, we have money for these transfers, which is brilliant. Do I believe it? I'm on the fence. I want to believe it, and I hope we do it. Is it possible? It may well be possible. And is Cunha and Delap enough? Would you like Cunha, Delap, and Osman if that's what we go for, or Cunha, Delap, and another? Get your thoughts in below on who that other might be. Yeah, and I know I really appreciate all you guys in the comments that have been absolutely flying in on the last video in terms of all you guys been speaking to each other, and I'm loving it. Thank you very much for joining the tribe and getting stuck into the comments. It's brilliant and it's lovely to see, so thank you for that. But as I said, that's David Ornstein talking about this, and he's obviously him. David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, and Laurie Whitwell are three of the biggest kind of sort of news journalists of sorts, especially when it comes to transfers, that have all the sort of inside track, and they're usually pretty good when they're talking about this kind of stuff. So this is good news, and I take it as positive news, and it's something that we need some positivity. Yes, we've got the Europa League, but the league form is absolutely horrific. Beyond doubt is it horrific. So nice that we're getting some news coming in with potential signings, and Matthias Cunha and Delap. Now, I believe that Delap obviously 30 million, so I believe that deal is doable. Cunha's obviously going to be 62 million and a bit more. I mean, how do we do that? There'll probably have to be some kind of structured deal where we, like many other deals, we just pay it over a period of time. But good to see things moving forward, especially if they're going to move early, which I'm also very happy about. Now, there was a little bit of other information that was coming out, and this was by Ben Jacobs, and he said Liam Delap is going to wait until the end of the season to see which sort of European / Champions League football club before he decides. I didn't say that very well. Apologies. Essentially, he's going to wait to see where other teams are involved with European football before he makes a decision. Manchester United and Chelsea are leading contenders. Now, is obviously with Cunha, it looks like he could move early because he wants the deal done early, and maybe Wolves also want the deal done early. But Delap may have to wait until he sees how Manchester United get on in the Europa League to see whether we make the final, which still hangs in the balance, on whether we win the final and get into the Champions League, because if we don't, we have no European football to offer anyone at all next year, which could be a massive drain on our ability to bring in the players that we really need. And Delap is maybe, and the lad's got every right to wait and see, because it's a big decision. It's not his final decision. He's not in his prime yet. He will have another massive contract after this, but he will be well paid whether he goes to Manchester United or Chelsea. That may be determined by where Manchester United and Chelsea are playing in Europe, or whether we're both in Europe. Chelsea obviously have a much more likely route into at least the Europa League through the Conference League, and with their position in the league, as opposed to the awful position that we're in, because everything rides on just the Europa League for us. So that's where we are with those. We will. Okay, so this was also coming out from David Ornstein, and he said the indication is that Matthias Cunha wants to join Manchester United and favours the move to Manchester United. So, I think this is brilliant news. It's great that Cunha is really keen to join Manchester United. Whether he's a boyhood fan or not, I don't know, but the signs are clear. He wants out of Wolves, he wants to progress, and he believes that Manchester United's project is the right one for him. And I think that's brilliant. So I am very pleased with this. Cunha is someone I've been talking about for a little while now. And if we do get him, fantastic. I think he could be a great addition to this team. He plays in the same kind of role for Wolves already, and he's excelling at a club that's struggling. Actually, they're actually doing quite well at the minute under their new management sort of team. So he is doing very well. I believe he will be a great addition to our team in that 10 role on the left side. Be very, very useful. And yeah, I'd love to see that come to fruition. So now, next up, a little bit on Dorgu. And this is, I think he needs to, he's talking himself about improving his decision making on the pitch. And he needs to find a better way to connect with his teammates. I really like to kind of move forward and help the team score goals, and I just need to improve on my decision making, but it will come. I like this from the kid. He raises that he has areas that he needs to improve. He is 20, he is young, he's come from Lecce, a team that were struggling in Serie A, and has come here, and he's done reasonably well as a 20-year-old kid, adapting, in a January transfer window when everything's very difficult. And behind the kid, I think he's got a lot of credibility. I also think Harry Hamas is going to push him. I'd love Hamas to come through too. And then you've got Diego Leon, who's going to be, joining the tour, and he's going to be also pushing for that. So we could have a lot of potential on that left side. Potential, yes, ultimately, because they're all very young, all different stages. Leon 17, Harry Hamas is 18 or 19, and Dogger's 20. So they're all very young, and they've all got a lot of experience to gather in over the next couple of years. But I'm quite pleased with that. And it's nice to see Dogger kind of talking about himself and the things he has to improve on. And I just hope the kid can keep working. And maybe, Patrice Evra came in for 6 months, were really tough on Patrice. And then after that, he was unbelievable. But yeah, let's see if he kind of follows that sort of path. A little bit on Tyler Frederickson from the other day, which I didn't get a chance to talk about. This were his stats, which were absolutely fantastic. 100% accuracy, long passing, 93 pass accuracy, 15 duels contested, 12 won, 7 passes into the final third, 5 tackles attempted, 4 tackles won, and 4 clearances. Absolutely outstanding. For him and Harry Hamas were, for me, the two best players on the pitch. Unfortunately, they were defensive players, and they never put a foot wrong the entire game. Now, I realised that Wolves probably weren't playing at their intensity and their highest level because they're safe now. But I still thought it was a good test for the kids, and I thought they both came out with flying colours. And I think I'm very, very proud of them. I'm really pleased that they're doing well, and let's see what kind of future they hold. As I said, I believe, Fredrickson, he kind of came up with the reels. It looked like Goodwill Kakonki was someone who was maybe ahead of him, and now he's not. This kid was part of the FA Cup youth winning team alongside, Garnacho and Manu a couple of years ago. And obviously he got injured, and he had a few little niggles here and there. I think that slowed his progress down. But he's back in the fire. He's back in the team, and he's doing brilliantly well. And I hope the kid goes on to have a good career, whether it's with us or whether it ends up somewhere else. And just a little bit on what Alan Shearer had said, and this was he's been about Hoyland. He's been put in a real difficult situation, and the club were on in a club where, unless you're exceptional to lead the line for the club, you have to be a real talent. So Alan Shearer is just kind of talking about what we already know. I'm not a massive fan of Alan Shearer at times, but he is kind of right here. The expectation on Hoyland was a bit too much to begin with, and he has struggled. Hence us looking at Delap. Is Delap the answer to moving Hoyland on? I don't know myself. At Delap and an Osimhen, I can't see that happening, but that would be fascinating if it did happen. There was obviously talk yesterday about Osimhen and 40 million. I just can't see that being the deal. I can't be very absolutely surprised if that was the case. But yeah, so that is all your news at the minute, guys. That's your 10-minute roundup. Thank you very much for joining me. Yesterday, as I said, I was away in Brighton for a couple of days, so I was unable to actually get a podcast out. Down doing some filming with some brilliant people on a brand new show that's going to be on the BBC around the Euros kind of come July time. And yeah, it'd be once I am allowed to reveal a little more detail on that, I probably will. But thanks for joining me. I'm Keith. Hit the old subscribe, hit the old like on the way out, and thank you for all the people who have subscribed recently, and all the viewing figures have been amazing. Thank you for all your support, guys. The tribe is here. Get your thoughts in, get your comments in on anything below that I've talked about, and I'll catch you on the next one.